guys, and welcome back to my kitchen. But in case this is the first time you're stopping by, my name is Gina and I'm a wife and mother from the Midwest, and I enjoy cooking fresh meals for my family, and sometimes I make videos of my recipes and I share them here on YouTube. Today I'm going to be making a super simple dish. It's actually a salad. It's a Middle Eastern salad. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's called Balela. And it's basically a fresh vegetable and chickpea or garbanzo bean, whatever you want to call it, salad with tons of fresh veggies, fresh herbs, and a very light lemon garlic vinaigrette on top. And then I'm going to be serving it with tofu that I'm going to be marinating in a shawarma style, which I'm not going to include that in the video. I just did want to mention that I'm going to be serving it with that as an additional protein. But this is, if you're into like healthy fresh foods for dinner, like one bowl meals, this could be a total meal because you've got vegetables and then you've got your protein from your beans. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our ingredients. Basically all you're going to need for this recipe to start is just a knife, a cutting board, and a large bowl to mix everything together. And then the salad itself consists of 3 cups of garbanzo beans. So that's a 28-ounce can or 2 smaller 15-ounce cans. And we're going to drain those and rinse them. We're going to need 1 or 2 cloves of garlic. We're going to need a orange pepper and a yellow pepper. I like that combination because they're different colors, but you could totally use red and green or whatever you have on hand. We're going to need some vine-ripened tomatoes. So I just have regular old vine-ripened tomatoes, but you could use Roma tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes, whatever you like. And then we're going to be adding some hothouse or English seedless cucumber, some scallions, and then tons of fresh herbs. Today I happen to have some really sad looking cilantro that I'm trying to save. I ordered my groceries from Jewel, and it was honestly the most horrible grocery delivery I've ever had, which is probably because of Corona, but whatever. Either way, like it was literally like moldy, like gross brown dying cilantro, which as you can see in my sink, I had to try to rinse it and stick it in some water. So anyways, we got to use it. So I've got cilantro, I've got parsley, and then you could, in addition, you could add fresh sumac or dried sumac. You could add mint, really whatever fresh herbs you like and that you have on hand. They all go great in this. And then to season it, we just need some salt and pepper, and then we like spicy, so I add a little bit of cayenne pepper to this salad, but you can totally omit that. So essentially, this is not even really a recipe. I'm just basically going to toss all this together in a bowl and then season it. So I'll be back as I add each ingredient to the bowl so you can see what size I'm chopping them. And yeah, let's get to it. Alright guys, so the first part of my chopping party is done. I'm actually going to have to switch to a larger bowl. So I just wanted to show you the size that we're chopping stuff. So I'm going for around the size of the garbanzo beans, which these are a little bit large. I could have went smaller. So I basically just took the cucumber and sliced it in half, and then sliced each half into 3 pieces and then diced it. And I actually only used about 3/4 of the cucumber because you want like around 1.5 cups to 2 cups of cucumber. And then you use the peppers in their entirety. So I have the orange pepper and the yellow pepper. Hang on 1 second. My husband is home. Hang on 1 second. All right, so you use the orange pepper and the yellow pepper in its entirety, and then same thing. We're just going for a semi-small dice. I will be back when I add the next ingredients. I just wanted to come back and show you. I scrapped the vine-ripened tomatoes. I picked as many of them out as I could, but they were like really mealy. Like when I was cutting them, they just felt like gross and mushy and like gross. So I ended up pulling out 3 Roma tomatoes, and then I quarter them and I go ahead and remove the seeds, and now I'm going to go ahead and dice these up and add them to the bowl. Okay, so this is the size pieces we end up with. So from each peeled quarter, I just put that into 3 pieces and then I dice it. And it looks like this. So I'd say it's about 1.5 cups of tomatoes that I added to the pot. Let me go ahead and take care of our herbs before we go ahead and start making our vinaigrette. Okay, so for our herbs, I have 5 scallions, and I just rinsed them and peeled off any nasty ones. And then I slice them on a bias, which means like on a diagonal, because you end up with much cuter pieces. And then you're only slicing the green parts. So the actual like white oniony parts, I have set to the side. You can either save those for a recipe, or I'm actually going to plant them in my garden because I have a scallion section and they'll regrow like another onion. They don't regrow continuously like forever, but I will be able to get one more use out of them. So why not? And then I did want to show you, this is my cilantro. I'm just going to mince it, but this is how I wash my herbs. So I basically just run them under cold water and squeeze out as much as I can. And then I kind of roll them up in a paper towel, and then I re-squeeze all the remaining water out of them, which is actually a really great way to store them as well in your fridge, just in case you were wondering. Nothing fancy for the rest of this part. I'm just going to go ahead and mince these and then add them to our bowl. And I will be back. We will probably dress it with the vinaigrette before we add the garbanzo beans because I really don't want to wash another bowl. Maybe I can do this way. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do, I've got my lemon here, which you want to wash because we're going to be zesting the whole thing. And the way you do that is you get something like this. This is called a microplane. And you're going to go ahead and use this to remove the outer layer of the lemon before we squeeze it. And you're also going to grate up our garlic so that way you don't get any huge chunks because it is raw garlic. So it'd be really pungent if you get large chunks unless you mince it really fine, which you could. But I prefer to do it this way. And then if this was a smaller clove of garlic, I probably would have used 2, but this is pretty big, so I'm just going to use 1. I mean, it's like half as long as my finger. So let me go ahead and get this zested, and then I'm going to squeeze the entire juice of the lemon into here, and then I'm going to grate the garlic, and then we'll be back to dress it with the rest of the seasoning before we add our chickpeas. Okay, so I have zested and juiced my lemon, and I wanted to show you my little trick. So the zest is sticking to the bottom of the this here microplane, but after you zest your lemon, you can always just lay this on top of your bowl and then squeeze your lemon over the microplane because it'll catch your seeds. Because I don't know about you guys, but as I get older, it's really hard for me to squeeze things. Like I can't hold something and squeeze a lemon or lime with one hand. It's just too hard for me. So I like to use both hands to get all of the juice, and it's nice to have the microplane to sift out your seeds. So let's go ahead and scrape off our remaining zest and whatnot. I'll have to do that again in a second. I've measured out our seasonings, which is just 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And as I've mentioned, you could totally skip the cayenne pepper if that's not for you or for your family. We just like a little bit of kick to it. And then I have 1/2 cup of good olive oil here. And then I cracked some fresh black pepper in there because that takes 2 hands. So it's probably about 1/4 teaspoon, but you could add more or less. So I'm going to go ahead and add our lemon juice. And then we're just going to start mixing this together and get everything as well incorporated as we can before we add the chickpeas, because clearly I needed to have a larger bowl, and this is going to get very full once I add in our 3 cups of chickpeas. It smells so good and fresh. I was out in my garden today. You guys don't know yet, but for the first time I planted not just a garden, basically a micro farm in my backyard. It's huge. It's at least 20 by 20, and I have basically every type of vegetable that you could grow in my climate here in the Midwest. And I've got like 6 plants of each different kind. So anyways, that's why my allergies are so bad. So all right, this is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get my chickpeas drained and rinsed. And also, side note, folks, like I'm a huge believer in clean as you go. As you can see, I put away all of my spices and everything as I cook. So that way, by the time we're done eating, I just have to work on dishes. So it's not so bad. And look, our little cilantro is perking up. Thank goodness, because I shopped for 2 weeks this time, and this has to last, unfortunately. So, all right, guys, let me get these garbanzo beans in here, and I'll be back. All right, guys, I got the garbanzo beans in here, and I've given it a stir. And as you can tell, I'm crunching away on it already because this is so good. It's so fresh and summery and bright and lemony from the garlic. It's got that little kick from the garlic, and it's lemony and bright, and the parsley is bright. Cilantro is really fresh. Chickpeas are just delicious. All those fresh veggies. This is absolutely wonderful. It gets better as it sits as well. So the longer it sits in the fridge, I'd say it could probably last like 3 days in the fridge. But if you want to make this a day and ahead, it'll be even better. But right now I'm going to go ahead and now take care of marinating my tofu. So I made this first so that way the flavors can kind of get together and marry. And always make sure you taste it for salt before you stick it in the fridge. I might add a pinch more salt to this, and I might actually add another squeeze of lemon juice just to add a little bit more acidity. But really, really good. Really, really good, guys. Alright guys, so this is our final dinner. This is our tofu, which I just realized I forgot to put salt in the marinade, which is not awesome. I just marinated with the shawarma marinade and then fried it until it was a little bit crispy and then sliced it. Daniel's looks much cuter still. I was messing around with my plate. But let's get a taste test.
So good.
You like it?
Really good.
The girls are definitely not eating it. This is not something they would eat. But this is really great with fish. It's really great with chicken. It's good by itself. You could serve it over a bed of romaine, or you could just eat it like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video for this Middle Eastern salad called Balela. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up or share it. And if you really liked it, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. My daughter is just going to keep talking while I'm talking, so I guess I should just let you go. Thank you so much for stopping by my kitchen, and have a good night.
Good night.
Oh.